Okay, so
Sorry.
welcome everyone to the second episode of the 5 Yard Pass, where we talk everything football, a bit more United than everything else. And I am Suri, and this is Sham. And yeah, how's it going, Sham?
Yeah, good mate, good. Very happy with the not so much the result against Brighton, but the way that the boys played. I thought it was just that's that should be the norm to get out there, score an early goal, dominate the game, kill it off as
Yeah,
early as you can. And I
yeah,
think in this period of time with lots of fixtures coming one after another, the quicker we kill off
mm.
games, the better it's going to be for us.
Yeah. So we got so as you all know, we have Bournemouth tomorrow, 10 o'clock. So 10 o'clock here. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff in the UK. Um, we'll just go with a bit of talk about the Brighton game, I guess. First, just like what you were saying before, I think a lot of younger fans, like when I say younger, I mean probably 20 and below, like don't understand like how what's the word, routine a win like that was. Let's say 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Like people going on about that like Matic pass. Like yeah, it was a great pass, but like that's kind of what United fans now get excited about. It's like a single pass in a game, or and you watch it all week, and like yeah, but like that's what United players do. Look for that outlet, quick counter attack. I'd give Greenwood that ball. Like that pass was amazing. 18-year-old making that decision instead of the easy pass to the two boys in the middle, Marshall and Rashford. But yeah, no, I think getting used to those wins is part of what United's about. Like this
yeah,
weekend,
exactly.
I said a year ago I'd have fear about Bournemouth, not because of Bournemouth, but because of how we could fuck it up. But tomorrow, unchanged lineup. I think it's going to be 2-0, 3-1 kind of game.
Yeah, I think that. Sorry, just adjusting my headset.
No, it's
But
fine. Take your
I
time.
think it's that type of thing. It'd be interesting to see if there's any changes. I think if there's any, there'll only be one or two. I think that we've got our first 11. It's performing, and the other fellas need to earn their starts. They need to come
So
on with 30 minutes to go and play well enough to get a start next week.
what do you what were your one or two biggest things from the Brighton game besides being a routine win?
I thought Luke Shaw's performance was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a bit of criticism for him. It's a bit harsh, I think, some of the criticism because he's a good player. He's just been injured a lot. But I think, like I said last time, the more game time you get into him, the better he's going to be. And I think he just went up a level. The thing about these types of performances, though, is like you said, if he's a United player, he needs to keep performing at that level every single week, and the level that these guys perform at needs to be at that level every single week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think Manic
I
as
had I
well.
had another I had another point. Sorry, go on. You're going to talk about Matic, yeah?
Yeah, I was just going to say Manic, I think, played really well. I think that just the solidity that he gives, I think, gives
Mm,
confidence to those around him, the ones behind him and the ones in front of him,
yeah,
that allow them to just do their thing without worrying about what he's going to do. Just
yeah.
Mr. Depend. Every team needs Mr. Dependable.
I've been seeing people talk about how he can't play week in week out, but he's 32 in a month. I just looked it up today. He's 32 in a month, and if you think about like the Michael Carricks and like Carrick is playing nearly every week at 34. Um, Roy Keane was as well. Like, I'm not saying he can play every single game twice a week, but I'm saying like he's not old, and we could have him around for 3 years. There's Dylan Levitt, for example, from the academy who could learn from him, and there's Scott McTominay, obviously, who could change his game to become more of a much type of player. But I think he's I think he's definitely run into the ground under Mourinho, but he's found his feet. He's probably found a new way to train. Like Ollie has found a new way to train him. All sorts of things we would have no idea about. But he's found something, and I think he he's definitely brought like everyone talks about the Fernandez factor, but he's been part of that spine with
Exactly.
Lindelof, Matic, Fernandez, and Martial and Rashford finally form. So yeah, I'm impressed with Matic, man. It's really nice to see.
Yeah, I think people, I think people go through ups and downs, and he was going through a down period, and that's what every
Yeah,
player does. I think people sometimes draw long bows to assume that he's going to be down for the rest of his career. Well,
mm,
we don't really know that yet. He's had a good period, a long good period, and then a sort of a
yeah,
shorter, not so good period.
yeah,
And is this, like you said, is this going to be the start of 2 to 3 years of him playing at this level, or
yeah.
is it going to be a situation where he plays at this level, but starts playing less of a time, and some of that
Yeah.
game time goes to guys like McTominay and Levitt.
Yeah. Just on that last thing about just the last thing for me is I think I said it last week where it's interesting that if I think about it now, I'd almost hesitate to play Matic in those 12 crucial games in the season. We were playing Spurs and Liverpool and City. I'd almost say McTominay in those games because the stakes are so much different. It's just a pulsating game. McTominay breaks, just gives it off. Where this Matic can almost, I feel like he's much better for these mid-table, small-table clubs where you need to take your time and break a team down, and you're going to get your first goal maybe the second minute. You don't know, but it's a lot more predictable in the tempo of the game, and you're holding the ball for a lot longer period.
So,
I think it's
what would
better
you
for those
say?
games.
I agree to a degree with what you're saying. What would you say to people who might suggest that McTominay needs game time in some of those lesser games to be at 100% for the Liverpools and the Cities and the Chelseas?
Well, I mean, if you think about the games coming up, I mean, it was a while away. They got Leicester in the last of this season. I've played McTominay there. With Chelsea, the FA Cup final, I genuinely consider playing McTominay over. Chelsea's a small club, but I genuinely consider playing McTominay over Matic. That's my opinion. I think he just works better. He's shown that he works better in big games. It's kind of like Darren Fletcher and Ji-Sung Park back in the day. Fletcher turned up for Chelsea 04, 05, 06. Turned up for every Chelsea game. Ji-Sung Park, big game player.
Ferguson picked Fletcher for every Liverpool game. He was picked for every Liverpool game.
Yeah, he just had a thing about him. I mean, it could be the fact that it could be a Scottish thing. I don't know. It could be a work ethic thing that that these academy players have. I hope it is, but he just turns up. So, not taking anything away from Matic, I think he's the best at what he does in his position in the league, if not the top three. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, next thing. So with City, sorry, I keep saying City, but with Leicester and Chelsea losing, 2 points off.
So Leicester lost, Chelsea lost, Tottenham lost.
I mean,
so that's Tottenham are probably not in it anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, no, that kind of hammered nailed the coffin. I mean, so
yeah,
I think we both kind of think the same thing here. It's pretty likely top four.
Yeah, so I think that those four teams, it's interesting they're all playing each other in the last game of the season, isn't it? Chelsea, Wolves, and United, Leicester in the last week. But
Chelsea and Wolves in the last day.
Yeah, Chelsea and Wolves are in the last day, and United versus Leicester. So that's Sky Sports Dream game. Yeah.
Sorry, I'd look at that again. I'm just going to look at it. I thought it was Liverpool they had Liverpool in the last day.
I think they got Liverpool second last. So their last two games are Liverpool and Wolves.
It's almost the same thing. But
and they'll have United in the FA Cup semi in between. So what will happen is that you'll have United in the FA Cup. The Liverpool game will get pushed to midweek. Chelsea I think the 22nd will be. And then the 26th will be the last day, which is Wolves.
Sorry, Chelsea's last five games coming up to the last game is Sheffield, Norwich, Liverpool, FA Cup against United, and then Wolves. So they're going to be stretched there.
Yeah, and particularly that last week they're playing Liverpool, United, and Wolves. So that's going to be a big finish for them.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think there's much differing opinion there. The next thing was it was an absolute pleasure to see Liverpool get thumped. It obviously was as I think Pep called it the beer effect, but it was nice to see. It was just nice. That's all. Like I'm not reading too much into
it. There are people who question how much we hate Liverpool on the Liverpool side and the United side. I like good football. I like good teams. I respect Liverpool. But yeah, it was nice to see them get stuffed. I think they actually played quite well until they conceded. And then it kind of fell away a bit. They had some chances. They hit the post. I think was it Salah? I think hit the post, and Mane the rebound kind of fell to him awkwardly, and he missed it.
I just want to highlight, like obviously you're on the Instagram, and I have a little browse now and again. I just want to highlight that United's the first team to do the treble in the same season, and do the double in the same season. Liverpool talking about how they have the Champions League and the Premier League and all that. Fair enough, respect. You are the best team in the world right now.
Oh, the European double, you're saying?
The European, well, we've done it in 08 and in 99. I'm just saying, no team's ever done. Liverpool's going about how they hold both trophies.
But technically, I gotta just correct you there. Liverpool actually, I think they won in 84-85. They won Champions League.
I'm talking about you League
and League Cup. They won a treble which had the League Cup in it instead of the FA Cup. It was Fagan's
Fair enough.
first season, but I think it was 84, 85. I'm not sure. Could be 84.
Right.
I don't
So
really
they
care.
had, no, neither do I. I'm talking about the new format in modern football.
Yeah, with a big expanded Champions League, with the Premier League in vogue. Yeah.
But fair play to them. Like as much as it is painful to see. I was going to ask you this though.
Interesting though that they won the league in one season and the Champions League in a different season.
They're putting in the same trophy in the same.
Yeah.
Who do you think should win Player of the Year?
That's an interesting question.
Because I have my
you
thoughts.
would think with Liverpool's season, it would go to a Liverpool player.
Okay, so I'm asking your opinion though, like not what you think should happen.
Okay, well, I do think Liverpool deserve kudos for their season. They've had an incredible season. Yeah. Van Dijk is a media darling. Salah also. And Alexander-Arnold's played quite well in patches. It's unusual to see a right back up there. I like Mane though. I think Mane's had big contributions at big times. I think people underrate him. But quite often when you see Liverpool might win 4-0 and he's always scored the first goal, or if they win 2-1, he's either won or set up the winning goal. He's a big moment player.
He has.
I don't think you'll get it, but I like Mane.
Him and Raul Jimenez, whatever, has the highest goal to point ratio in the league or in the world. So their goals are worth the most. So they have. So Mane
and Jimenez, sorry.
Yeah, equal. So they both put 18 points on the board by themselves with their goals, which is incredible. I mean, that's the
18
league
points
title.
Just from their goals.
That's the league. That's the league title. So I actually had another opinion this morning until I saw that, where I thought, and I think Kevin De Bruyne is maybe the best midfielder in the world. And I was just thinking about it, and I thought, I think Mane, if you think of someone who's literally made the difference between winning and losing the title, because if he hadn't done that, City wins last night. Let's say the title's not over. City's on top. City goes and wins the title. You know, I mean, you could say like things would be different. I was in the Kevin De Bruyne train, but I think Sadio Mane absolutely deserves it. Absolutely, and maybe Trent for Young Player of the Year.
Yeah, I thought his performance. I saw. I was flying into Singapore and I got there about 3 a.m. and watched with our uncle the Liverpool Leicester game, and I've never seen anyone dominate a game like that from right back. Just the way, and they won 4-0. The fourth goal he scored, it reminded me of Carlos Alberto in the 1970 World Cup final. That goal that Pele lays off for him and he thumps it in. Yeah, it looked exactly like that. Yeah, he had a very dominant game, and he's redefined a bit what fullbacks can do. Fullbacks have normally been expected to hold their position or run up and down the line like a blind man, but he's kind of like a playmaking fullback. It's a very unique thing in football. It'll be interesting to see if that evolves or if he's a one-off type player.
I think the initiator of that was Danny Alves, where the right back is as important to the attack as anyone else. I mean, in that way, he's in some ways he's probably better than Alves, but Alves I guess is more of a baller. You know, like the way you're comparing De Bruyne to Henderson. De Bruyne is more of a baller as you think.
You want a statistic about Alves? He's provided more assists for Lionel. He's provided more assists for Lionel Messi than any Barcelona player, any player.
Jeez, there you go. He's a baller. He's an absolute baller.
He's a smart player too. He can run like the wind and run forever, but he's a smart player too. He can pick big moments and take advantage of them. I rate him very highly.
I like to say that I did call it. Chelsea have this thing of peaking for about 3 or 4 games, and they're just going to the fucking business. They can't do the business. They should have done the business against West. I'm happy they didn't. I'm just going from a football point of view. Kepa fucking hates crosses more than Dracula. He can't come out to catch a cross for his life, and he's just clown defending. I don't know what they were doing. They had a bad game. Don't get me wrong, but it's just if you just cleaned up those games for Chelsea, you'd have 4 or 5 teams going to the league next year.
When you said it at the time, I'll be honest, I was a bit, I'll see how it pans out, but it panned out exactly the way you said it. Yeah. Chelsea, Lampard had a massive crack at his team at the press conference in the sense that, he said, we play well 80% of the time, but we just let ourselves down in those big moments.
Absolutely, yeah.
They kind of fell a bit to West Ham's level, in a sense, whereas they can play better than that. It made for an entertaining game. It was a very enjoyable game to watch, but it was, they kind of they looked a bit like a side trying to get out of the relegation zone as opposed to a side trying to cement themselves in the Champions League.
I'd be worried. I'd be worried to see how that affects. If I was a Chelsea fan, what's his name? Hakim, no Hakim, the winger from Ajax and Werner, whether they're going to lift their level or whether they're going to lift the team or they're going to come because they haven't Pogba. Pogba, for whatever reason, couldn't lift the team where Fernandes did. So Fernandes comes in and just lifts the team together. And Pogba apparently is in quote swimming in happiness at United at the minute. Again, not complaining.
It's two things there. One, young teams tend to be inconsistent. They haven't got that mentality that we are at this level. You tend to be at the level of everyone around you, and younger teams have that mentality. United have done that a bit. With Pogba, it's interesting. For all of he was kind of brought in to be the next Roy Keane, which he's not. He's never been that player.
Yeah.
But it's just like for all we talk about professionalism and taking your chances and scoring points, he loves football again. How much better do you play when you've got playing with a big smile on your face and you've got good players around you and everybody's just moving in ways that you know where they're going, they know where you're going. We forget about the importance of that in football. We say it sometimes in passing, oh, he's not happy, but how much of a difference it can actually make. And I was saying to you before, probably a few weeks ago, like Fernandes was saying the right things about Pogba during the break. He said, oh, I'm really looking forward to playing with Pogba again. He's such a good player. He was saying the right things and trying to welcome Pogba in. And there's footage from the United trainings about them taking free kicks together and things like that, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's just made him feel loved. And sometimes people just need
that have come out, sorry, go on.
No, that was it.
you lagged a bit there. Anyway, coming to today's game, finishing off lineup for tomorrow.
I mean, if you take the last week's lineup, the Brighton lineup, I don't really see any changes. A couple of eyes might be on Shaw and Matic, but they played well. So why would you move them on? And why would you put them on the bench? They played well. They deserve their spots. I'd like to see Bayer get a bit more game time. Maguire's the only one who's played every minute of every game. So there seems to be a reliance on him, and he's club captain. That's fair enough. But you'd like to see him come off at some point, I think, just to rest him a bit if they can. It was interesting that he wasn't brought up against Brighton, but we'll see. But I think the other boys have all earned their slots. Greenwood had a great goal against Brighton. Just the way he took the game on, and he took the shot early. Raul was a player for Real Madrid. He took a lot of shots very early and surprised the keeper. Greenwood's got that ability to take shots early with a very minimal backlift. So the ball's probably 5 meters of his foot before the keeper senses anything. So the way he shoots, it's one quick and two. You just know he's born to score goals, this kid. And I didn't realize he was 18. I thought he was 21. I realized, he's 18 years old. Jeez. Apart from Giggs, I can't think of anyone playing at that level at that age.
Someone said that today. I was watching someone else's channel saying they haven't seen an older fella, probably in his 50s, saying, or 40s maybe, saying that they haven't seen that level since Giggs. An academy player, I wouldn't. I actually think they probably rest Greenwood this weekend. I think Daniel James will come in.
They will face his progression, and we'll probably get a little bit frustrated at times with him not getting game time. I think he's played 25 games, but had 10 starts, something like that. I could be wrong on those numbers, but he will probably get some game time. But yeah, like you said, I'd be surprised if he started. He won't start every game between now and the end of the season.
No, he was never meant to. Like, I guess they probably thought, they probably thought they were getting another winger. Maybe they thought they were getting Sancho. They said today Grealish is a few reports coming out saying Grealish is a done deal. Sancho's to follow. So, maybe
Sancho's to what? Sorry,
Sancho to follow as well. Sancho. Grealish is confirmed. Sancho to follow. Like just a matter of a couple of weeks. You said it as well. Season finishing.
They're the two that they need. I think that the base McTominay and Matic look strong enough to play in that sort of 6 role. Yeah. So I don't think that that's as much of a focus as I thought it might be.
Mhm.
Grealish is kind of he's the Mahrez Gundogan type signing where he won't play every game, but he'll come on and expect to be expected to be at that high quality.
Yeah.
Scholes did it in his later years at United. Xavi did it at
Mhm.
Barcelona, where you play 25 games, but you play them at high quality. And Grealish will be that's kind of going to be his role. He's gonna get game time from Fernandes and Pogba and be expected to play at that level. And he's
Mhm.
capable of it.
Mhm.
It'll be very interesting to see him adjust to playing at a big club and playing with those expectations. But he's quality. He's
Do you think
quality.
do you think Grealish plays down the wing as well, if he has to, or?
They say he can play wide on the left. I tend to think that's a bit more to do with being at a team that's a bit lower on the table, and they tend to put stronger players in the middle and creative players out wide.
Mm.
So if there's the reality is Rashford will play on the left for United, Martial will play there if Rashford isn't. Grealish could be a third option, but I see him playing it to replace Pogba when Pogba needs a break, or to replace Fernandes when he needs a break,
Yeah.
and he'll be expected to play at that sort of level. So
Yeah.
it'd be a big move for him, but it's if he gets it right, he could be an England international and United play for 10 years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
I hope
perfect.
what you're
Yeah.
saying is
Now,
true. That it's a
I
done deal.
wouldn't say much difference. I just think Stream will get a rest. I don't think Marcus should get a rest just because there's a game. The next game is in 6 days, so I don't think he'll get a rest. I just think Daniel James will come in. Maybe Brandon Williams. Not much will change though.
It'll be interesting if assuming Sancho comes in because you'll have Sancho and James on the right. You'll have Greenwood and Igalo and Martial up front, and Rashford on the left, and probably Martial and Greenwood will play occasionally on the left. It'll be interesting to see because Martial and Rashford at times have looked very similar. They found a way to
Mm.
play this way this season. I wonder if that's something that will happen sort of long term, because
Yeah.
I feel you almost feel that Agala's there to help Greenwood along, and there'll become
Mm.
a point where Greenwood is behind Martial, and as Greenwood takes that progression to become United's number 9, what happens to Tony Martial will be an interesting question.
Yeah. Well, perfect, Sean. On that note, that's the video for today, guys. So tomorrow, anyway, thanks a lot, Sean. I'll talk to you before the next game against Villa.
Yeah, cheers.